All right, so we are going to go ahead and talk about our recent trip to Aulani, which is Disney's resort out in Oahu. I am joined at the table by good friends, Mr. Sean Falk.
Hi.
Mr. Rory Uren.
Hello.
Ms. Kathy Whirling.
Hi, everybody.
Mr. Reese Eccles.
Hey.
And back in the production nook, our producer, Mr. Craig Williams.
Hey.
Associate producer, Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
And our West Coast producer, Mr. Tyler Crouch. Who is back there breaking stuff. So, all right. So we were, and Steve and Makayla were out there with Sean and I. We had gone out to do an agent education program with Dreams Unlimited Travel, and so Steve and Makayla were out there as well. And in a little bit, they did a great vlog that they just they vlogged a day of doing activities around the resort, because I was like going to include like activity stuff and not include this vlog, and then I watched it and I'm like, I can't do a better job explaining it than they do showing it, and it's really, really cool. So stay tuned for that. But first, I have a little 5-minute video that I put together of Aulani. So let's go ahead and show that. I want to go back. I want to go back. It is so gorgeous. It's gorgeous in Hawaii, but I got to tell you, Aulani is really something special. So let's start out by talking about getting there, because the biggest hurdle that people have in going to Aulani is like they look at the cost of the resort, and while it's commensurate with the other resorts that are in the Ko'olina area, and that's where Aulani is located, in the Ko'olina section of Oahu. It's a very nice, exclusive enclave. You have a lot of golf resorts there. Four Seasons is right next to Aulani. There's a lot of high-end hotels in that area. So people look at that, and it's not inconsistent with a deluxe resort here, although much better than the deluxe resorts here by a mile. But it's when they go and look at airfare, because you can't drive unless you have a very special car.
Yeah.
You can't drive, and there are no trains, so you have to fly. And that is where a lot of people will look and go, ugh. Now, I know, Sean, you've done a lot. Sean is the king of finding flights, cheap flights, and just like being able to like bundle cheap. It makes him a very good Dreams Unlimited travel agent.
If we could sell flights, it'd be great. But yeah, we don't book flights. So.
But you can still give advice to your clients. About how to do that. But, So talk to me about what you found.
Yeah, flights are definitely a big thing for me. They always have been. And going here, I mean, it's the flights that kill you. And it is, even when we're talking about budget, in case you've never looked into going to Aulani, realistically, this is something, if you're family of 4, 2 adults, 2 kids, this is something that you kind of already need to be okay with Disney Cruise Line pricing, or else you're going to hit a big sticker shock whenever you get to this point. And I would expect to spend overall for the trip about $10,000, if not more than that, just depending on what kind of room style you stay in, because you're buying your own food, you're buying all these different things. But as far as getting there goes, I personally would recommend going for about a week because of time zone differences and time changes. I know Aulani themselves say their average is more about 4 days of how long people stay. I can't imagine doing that just because I would be, it takes 4 days to get used to timing.
Well, you also have to bear in mind that a big part of their audience comes from the West Coast.
Right. So it's not as big a difference for them. So I get that for sure. And there's a lot of flight deals that do go out of Los Angeles, Las Vegas, San Francisco. So there's kind of different ways of thinking about it. So you can either, if you already live there, it's easier to just book something online straight away and just go LA to Hawaii is usually going to be the best bet. And Hawaiian Airlines runs specials. Alaska Airlines runs specials. Beyond that, if you live on the East Coast or even in the middle of the United States, sometimes it's better to book yourself a round trip ticket to Los Angeles or to San Francisco, and then book a separate round trip ticket. Every now and then that is a cheaper option, but overall the big debates with things, as I've pulled like March 2nd through the 9th of this 2019, that's going to be a Saturday to Saturday. Were you going from a more East Coast city like Nashville, you can get them for about $714,
which isn't terrible.
It's not terrible. It's going to be economy. But for $714, you have to think about it too, as in Hawaii is so far away, and we think about it, it's part of the United States. You see it on a map and it doesn't look that far, but if you live in Nashville, if you live in New York, even Minnesota, it's much quicker to get to France or Sweden or Germany than it's going to be to get to Hawaii.
It's a 10 to 12 hour flight.
It's a long
It's in the middle
flight.
of nowhere.
Yeah, it's literally.
It's thousands of miles from anywhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not close. So when you think, $700, $800 to get somewhere, that's what it costs to get to another continent, which is essentially what you're doing. So keep that in mind. So there's for that $714, you see it immediately and you're like, oh, that's not as bad. However, once you start delving into it, it takes you about 46 total hours to get to Hawaii with layovers and everything. So obviously that's not a good option.
46 hours.
46 hours, yeah. So, and as the cheapest ticket option. So you really want to make sure you're looking at, the length of time for these flights as well, because they will stick you on layovers in, San Francisco for a whole day, or, Las Vegas for a day and a half kind of thing. And there you are stuck, and that's a whole day of your trip gone. So
time is valuable.
Right. Yeah. And so you have to make sure you're keeping that in mind and really looking out for that, because it comes up a lot as you're looking up these flights. Another big issue with it is deciding what airport exactly you want to fly out of is another big opportunity. In 2019, if you were going April 13th through April 20th, you would be able to, if you're flying out of Philadelphia or JFK.
God help you.
Yeah. So if you were flying out of Philadelphia, you're going to pay about $1,300 for your flight. JFK is about $1,100, really more, almost $1,200. So for a family of four, from Philadelphia, those dates, you're looking at $5,456 just for your airline tickets to get to Hawaii. However, if you move to the next week and you base and even as I've been talking to some clients, I've kind of told them you're better off setting up your flights first and planning your trip based around when you can get good flights, because the price differences aren't going to be that drastic with Aulani. Every now and then, per night it's going to be within $40, $50, $60 difference.
Right. Well, that's true, except they are, like, right now they're running
specials,
winter and spring specials at 30% off. So
right.
I'll talk about that in a little bit. That's significant.
But
savings.
that's even from one week to another. So this is like if you did April 13th through the 20th versus April 20th through the 27th, they're still within the same discounted bracket. But that Philadelphia flight is $914 each if you went April 20th through the 27th. And so that's $3,600 for a family of four. So that's $2,000 less for your flights for moving yourself back a week, which is the week after Easter instead of the week before Easter. So, which is a good spring break time and all that kind of stuff. So really looking into those flights first, because if you had already booked Aulani for the 13th through the 20th, you're now locked in to these dates. I mean, they can get flexible and move them, but in your mind, you're thinking, okay, this is the flights I need to look for, and you're going to be hit with $5,500.
So it is the key really is to be very flexible about when you can travel.
And really not even that, just picking this is the date ranges that I can travel, let me find my flights, and then go contact your agent and be like, okay, these are my dates.
Sean at
I've set these are my dates. I've set them in, and this is when you can go. It helps a lot on our end, and it also helps you a lot on your end. And a couple of different websites that I use as far as flights go. I use Skyscanner is one, so skyscanner.com. There you're actually going to be able to put in whatever city you live in, and you can use the everywhere option. So that works even beyond going to Hawaii. So you can literally type everywhere, or you can type general dates, and they will tell you, if you put Orlando to Honolulu, and you can pick the whole month, cheapest month, whatever. You can also pick everywhere, and it will show you pretty much everywhere, every airport in the world, what your flight would cost on the dates that you select. So that's a good option for people. The other two I have are actually paid. You pay per year to be part of them. I've been with them for years, and I've always had really good luck. One is called Next Vacay, like VACAY. With them, you put your local airports. So I have Orlando and Tampa for myself, and then I also have Nashville and Memphis because my family lives there. So they will actually email you flight deals for yourself. So, I got a flight deal from them a couple days back where if I flew Tampa to Honolulu, it was $575 round trip.
Wow.
So, they will alert you, and they will give you the time frame. So then once you see it, you jump on it, book it, and then you can kind of start looking into your Aulani part of the trip. The last one I use is called Scott's Flights. They're about $25 for the year to be a part of that. With them, they send you don't get to pick your specific locations, but you do get lots of emails from them with various routes. It could be randomly, Minneapolis, Minnesota to Frankfurt, Germany. They have very set and specific routes, but you can get them for very cheap. And, I get those emails. So going back through them, I was able to get Washington, D.C. to Honolulu for $552, Cincinnati for $559, Toronto, Canada for $580 in Canadian dollars, even like Boise, Idaho for $440 round trip. So really anywhere there, that if you're open to where you want to go and when you want to go, Scott's Flights is a great option too.
And the point is that, like I said, for a lot of people, they don't get past the flights.
Right.
Before they even consider looking at the hotel, they don't get past the flight. So that's why we're spending some time talking about some strategies, because if you're so inclined, this will be a vacation I think it's safe to say you will not forget.
Oh yeah.
And I want to explain why that is. We talk about Disney Cruise Line a lot. Sean referenced, kind of bracing yourself for Disney Cruise Line level pricing. Aulani is like Disney Cruise Line. As a matter of fact, it's run by Disney Cruise Line effectively, but it's just on land. But the way it's set up, the way everything is set up at Aulani, it's very much like a cruise. Right down to the Daily Iwa, I think is what it's called, Daily Eva. Which is like your navigator on the cruise line. Mm-hmm. It outlines everything going on that day. They keep them down at the front desk. You can go down and pick one up. It tells you the times of everything that is going on. In a little bit, when we play Steve and Makayla's video, you'll understand the number of things there are to do. Mm-hmm. And their video just gives you a snapshot of certain things. There's a lot more. And a lot of things are included with your stay. You're not nickel and dimed on a lot of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And they have a shore excursions desk. If you want to do things around the island, or even island hop, they have one excursion that goes to Kauai. And
they have another Maui too,
and Maui and things like that. So the shore excursions are going to range in price from $70 to $500 for one of those, going where you're getting on a plane and going to another island. And those are day trips, so you're just going for the day. That's how close the other islands are, though, that you can do that. And one thing to note, though, as Sean found out when he was planning some of the shore excursions, a lot of them do not include transportation from Aulani to where you need to be.
Right.
Oh.
Which was kind of odd.
It was odd. It was something, we ended up, I wanted to do zip lining. That was the big thing that I had looked into before I went. And Steve and I actually ended up doing a helicopter tour instead because even though the helicopter tour was more expensive, it was pretty close by Aulani. And the zip lining is actually on the other side of the island. So they said, but we have an Alamo rent-a-car service, so you can rent a car. And Uber it was over an hour's ride, so I think it was almost $100 each way. So I'm like, well, by the time we add it up, we might as well take the helicopter tour. So it ended up being as expensive to just take a helicopter around the island as it was to go zip lining. So that's something to take into account too.
But you came back from that helicopter tour, and when I asked you, how was it?
Oh, it was like one of the best things I've ever done in my whole life. Like, it was so good. And I had already been to Aulani previously, so this was the best way to see the island. It was even better than driving the island. Like, seeing it from above and flying around it, it was amazing. And
we have, we're going up in the next week or so, or soon. Let me not put a time limit on that. Steve and Sean did a vlog of their experience doing the helicopter tour. Got some amazing video. This was Blue Hawaii. Yeah, was the helicopter company. Yeah. And what was really cool is they have video cameras mounted outside the helicopter as well. So these guys were shooting video inside the helicopter, and then Blue Hawaii you can pay. I think it was like $40.
Yeah, it was about $40.
And they will give you a thumb drive with all of your all of your video on
Yeah,
it.
it also records you inside the helicopter, which I thought is great for people with families. I mean, it's cool to have the experience of seeing
And they cut
your
back and
kids,
forth,
and so
yeah.
it cuts back and forth, so it's really cool. I did want to mention as well with thinking about the planning process as far as Aulani goes. When you're looking at the prices on the website, you might because there are like regular room options or like a standard room style. There's also like 1-bedroom villas, 2-bedroom villas. You have to take your dining into the equation when you're planning this type of thing. So for like one of the dates I pulled, for a standard room with the ocean view, you're looking at about $7,900. Where so 1-bedroom comes up to about $9,000. So you're about $1,100 more to have a 1-bedroom versus having the standard style room. However, the 1-bedroom gives you a full kitchen. You're going to have a rice cooker, a full refrigerator, and lots of appliances that you can use to cook, and a stove and everything.
Which he took full advantage of.
I took full advantage of because you have to whenever you're there, and because every food item has to be shipped in to Hawaii, and you're going to pay a lot of money, especially to eat at Aulani. If you're eating 3 meals a day there for your whole family, you are going to spend well over that $1,000. So.
Well, it could be. I think it's important, though, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, to explain what the different room types are.
Right.
But I want to get to that in a moment. One of the things I want to make sure, a point I really want to drive home, what makes Aulani different than there's a Four Seasons right next to it. There's, one of the most popular ones on the island is the Hilton Hawaiian Village. It's one that you see in a lot of TV shows, and it's been around for many, many years. And we stayed at the Hilton Hawaiian Village when we came back from Tokyo, and we did an overnight. We just stayed there because it was nice and close to the airport. That is a caricature of Hawaii, and not a very good one, in my opinion. Aulani is authentic, very authentic. When the Four Seasons or the JW Marriott or any of these other hotels built their hotels, they built hotels. Disney created something that is authentic to Hawaiian culture and doesn't make it a caricature. It is authentic, the real experience. They went to such pains to create something that really celebrates that culture, to the point where locals, their elders of the community have said, there is no other hotel anywhere in Hawaii, or anywhere for that matter, that better represents their culture than that. And this was a huge concern for the local community when Disney announced they were going to build this, that they were going to Disneyfy their culture. And when they were finished, Joe Rohde, who is the Imagineer responsible for Animal Kingdom, was the Imagineer responsible for this resort. And right down to the light fixtures, there's a story. And it all ties back in to Hawaiian culture, folklore. It celebrates that culture in a way that no other resort does.
And I will say, like, speaking on that, even when you look at the, even in our intro video, you have the overhead shot of Aulani. Right to the side is going to be that Four Seasons, and nothing.
That looks like a hospital.
Nothing against the Four Seasons, but it does look like a hospital. Like, it is not there. None of the other hotels in that area are up to that standard at all. When you see Aulani from above, just the pictures, you're like, that's the Hawaii I think of when I think, oh, I want to go on a Hawaiian vacation. And that was the big difference when we stayed at the Hilton in Waikiki. That was the first time I've ever not stayed at Aulani going to Hawaii, and I was so disappointed.
Never again.
Not that I didn't think it was a bad resort specifically or anything. It's just nothing compared to Aulani.
It's not relaxing Waikiki. It's busy. It's lots going on.
Well, more specifically, the Hilton Hawaiian Village, 4,400 guest rooms in this complex. So easily 10, 12, 13,000 people staying at this hotel. And yes, it is less expensive than Aulani.
Yeah.
No question. Not that much less expensive to warrant the gross difference in experience, though.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the rooms at Aulani because this is important. There are, in specific, there are two sides to the Aulani experience. You have rooms that are hotel rooms, and you have rooms that are part of the Disney Vacation Club, which is Disney's timeshare. Talking just about standard rooms at Aulani, the hotel side of things, 382 square feet, which is massive.
That's a nice size room.
Rooms are huge, and they're really well appointed. 2 queen beds or 1 king bed and a queen size sleeper sofa, mini fridge, Keurig coffee makers. I looked up some pricing. Mm-hmm. I looked at like May 19th through the 25th. Mm-hmm. The rack rate for that standard room, $512. That's a standard view, which means you're staring at a parking lot in a mountain. $562 for an island garden view, or $713 a night for the ocean view, same room, but a $200 premium based on the view. But with the spring offer, which is 30% off right now, those rates go to $384 a night for the standard view room and $500 a night for the ocean view, and those are available right now. Mm. Now, on the DVC side, you could do a deluxe studio, which is kind of a hotel room plus. It's a little bit larger. Sean and I did a 1-bedroom villa.
Yeah.
Steve and Makayla were in the we're in a standard room. We were in a 1-bedroom villa. That's 750 square feet. So it's huge. It's got a nice size living room, a dining area, a full kitchen, master bedroom with a king bed, one bathroom. There's a washer and dryer, which was a godsend before we went to Tokyo.
Yeah. A soaker tub, like a huge tub.
Was it a jacuzzi
tub? Yeah.
Now, again, prices dependent on view. You have ocean view, poolside garden view, island garden view, or standard view. I took a look at the rates in February 17th through the 23rd. $800 a night for a standard view, $1,060 a night for the ocean view. But with that 30% promo, that ocean view becomes $742 a night. They are always...
And that's on 1 bedroom.
That's right? On a 1-bedroom villa. Okay. So, and then when you consider the money you can save, if you walk across the street to the ABC store that has groceries, and not that they're inexpensive groceries, they're not, but Sean cooked about 4 or 5 meals for himself in the room with the rice cooker, and he actually set off the fire alarm at one point trying to cook chicken.
Yep.
And that was fun.
The other thing to consider is you could rent DVC points, and that's a great way of making a saving on those rooms, because that's a lot cheaper than the normal rack.
Exactly.
Price.
And if you're a DVC member, of course, you can use your points. Use your points there. And if you take the DVC tour, I didn't realize this until I was doing research last night, that if you take the DVC tour while you're there, one of the things they'll give you are 2 tickets to the luau, and we'll get to the luau in a little bit, but I'll give you a preview of what I thought of the luau. We have a luau here at the Polynesian. We also have one over at the Royal Pacific at Universal. This luau at Aulani makes those look like 3rd grade productions.
Oh, jeez.
It's not even close. I'm not a luau guy. Wasn't particularly excited about doing the luau, but let me tell you the story. I won't review anything that I haven't paid for. And like I said, now we paid rack rate for the 1-bedroom villa for a few nights before the agent education program started. During the agent education program, we had a reduced rate, but since I had paid for 4 nights at full rate, I felt comfortable being able to review it and say what I thought of the room. The AEP, the Agent Education Program, included the luau. And after the luau, I'm like, damn, I can't review this. I cannot review this because I didn't pay for it. And I went up to the people running the program and said, listen, is there any way you'd let me just pay you for that? And they looked at me like, are you crazy? I go, well, you paid for it in your registration. I'm like, no, I really didn't. That's nice. I guess we could skin the cat that way, but it's not actually honest. So what I had to do was literally pay for a ticket for a night that I wasn't going to go. Just to say that I have paid for my seat at the luau. That's how good it was. That's how good it was, because I wanted to be able to talk about it honestly, and say I put my money where my mouth was. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Dining was always an issue. Well, let's not move on to dining yet. Let's talk about the rooms. When you went out, Rory? You were out there earlier this year, right?
As I was like May time, I was in a standard room, garden view sort of room. It's a very nice room. As you say, it's very large. I was on my own, so I had plenty of space for myself. But I was just overlooking the car park, so it wasn't a great view out. But you could just walk down the corridor and enjoy the view of the ocean.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just an incredible place, Aulani. You can't describe what it's like, really. It's just.
And you're very familiar with the resorts here.
Yeah, very familiar with them here. I don't tend to stay at Disney resorts here, as I find I spend all the time in theme parks, so I don't really need to enjoy a nice hotel because I'm just resting my head there. Well, Aulani is a whole experience, and you just stay there rather than going outside of the island.
Kind of like being on a cruise.
It is kind of like being on a cruise. But then I thoroughly recommend that you do go out and visit the island and rent a car and see some other sides of it.
Yeah. The first time I went, I did have a standard view room, and mine actually, because there's a parking garage, so you could possibly be looking at the parking garage. There's also a little parking lot, so I had that luckily, and the parking lot was below me, so everything I could actually see as far as my view went was the sunrise, the mountains, everything like that. It was a phenomenal view. So I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is a standard view. So I just didn't realize not everyone gets the standard view that way. So then this time we stayed in an island garden view room. And so which
gave us a view of the Four Seasons, the parking lot.
Yeah. I liked my standard view better. So
I think I had.
Oh, that's right. You've been out there.
I've been, just the one time, and it's been
5 years.
5 years. So I'm by no means an authority anymore on it. But yeah, we had the parking lot down below, not the parking garage, but just a random parking lot, and then the mountain views.
That's what I had. Yeah.
And even if you get that, it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it's if you get just the right angle with it, you can see out so far. In the distance, it's not like the mountains are just right there and that's it.
Yeah.
You can see a lot of landscape. There's a lot of beauty to it. And
I will say that the one bedroom villa was really well appointed. There were a couple of things that the safe was broken, which I thought was kind of crappy. But it was clean. That kitchen is so well appointed. There's a full refrigerator in there. There's a full stove and oven. All the utensils you need to cook. This bothered me a little bit. They had a regular coffee maker with it was Joffrey's, but it was like the pouches,
flat pouches.
Yeah, wasn't very good. But the standard rooms on the hotel side have the Keurig.
Okay.
And I really think
it's still not the coffee you want at Aulani.
No, the coffee you want at Aulani is done by the Hawaii. I think it's the Hawaii Coffee Company. I've actually got it brewed outside right now, which I could really use one.
Tyler.
It's fine. No, you don't know how to. Only Craig knows how to fix my coffee. So, my complaint with it though was that you get the refillable mug, and I'll do a plug for Dreams Unlimited. When you book Aulani through Dreams Unlimited, everybody in the party gets a free refillable mug, which is worth about $20. And if you're like me in the morning, nothing good can happen until I've had my first cup of coffee. In order to do that, I had to go downstairs and across the resort over to the Ulu Cafe, which is where the coffee was. There was nothing in the main building. There was nowhere in the main building for me to get coffee. Not a big deal, except on the morning when you wake up and there's a monsoon going on.
Oh.
outside, and in order to get your coffee, you're going to have to get soaking wet. I thought that was a huge oversight because it used to be when we were staying there in the big gift shop, they had a soda fountain and coffee there. It's no longer there. It's all over at the Ulu Cafe.
Yeah, but that's what surprised me when I was seeing your photos and posts from there. Is like the week that we went, every single day was like your stereotypical beautiful Hawaiian day. And it's like, oh yeah, it never rains here. There's clouds that just accent the sun and sunsets, so that way it makes for the most spectacular views of your life. And then I saw your photos and it looked like every day was raining. Like just something simple like that, just going outside real quick to go to get food or anything. That's difficult.
Yeah, and we did. We had unusual weather. This is the first time I've ever been. This is my 5th time to Aulani. I've never had weather like this before. Every day for at least at some point it rained. So that was bothersome.
I just wanted to say too, with the rooms, from what I remember with it, is that like we said with the square footage size, these are big rooms, and they were just so comfortable. Like
Very comfortable.
It was the type. Like this is not. You always wonder what kind of bed you're going to get when you go and stay at a hotel, and these were the ones that you just want to stay in bed all day. But unfortunately, you're in Hawaii, so you're not going to.
Yeah.
Unless maybe you have one of those awesome views where you're looking all the way down through the courtyard into the beach and everything, in which case, yeah, stay in bed all day and just look at it from there. But it was so comfortable, and you'll sleep like heaven.
Sleep like Kevin?
Yeah.
How does Kevin sleep?
Heaven.
No, heaven.
I know.
Oh, sleep like heaven? I don't know, probably. Share.
Greatest showman. All right, so let's talk about the dining. There are a few options for dining at Aulani. The Makahiki restaurant is in the main building. This is where the buffet, all their meals are buffet meals. So you have breakfast and dinner. They are character meals on certain days. They're not always character meals, and the price does vary, but not by much.
Like it's like funny how
It's like
little it.
$4 extra
Oh, wow.
for the
To have
character meal.
You might as
Yeah.
well go to the character one.
Let me tell you something. In that video we just showed, you saw Pluto. In all my years doing this, I have not yet seen a character interaction as good as that Pluto was. That character was so good, Pluto is now my favorite character.
Wow.
Because every time I see Pluto, I think of that. It was amazing. And so was the breakfast.
No.
No, it was
The dinner's good.
Oh, the dinner's good.
Breakfast
the
was
dinner's, that's right. It was dinner. The
I'm like,
breakfast.
wait, what?
Because the first time we went, we had dinner.
Yes. Well, the first time we went was
No,
breakfast.
wasn't it?
Breakfast and it wasn't good. And then we had dinner
No, it was-
twice and it was great.
Was it? I thought it was the other way around.
No.
Okay. I know because we did it the same day, didn't we? We had breakfast and dinner on the same day.
Yeah.
Now, the character meal, is it like here where you have to schedule it months in advance, or can you just
No.
show up for the
Well,
character?
okay, careful. You should. You should schedule
Okay.
it in advance. We were able to get a reservation on dinner same day, but you really want to do it in advance because
Yeah.
it can book up, and they're very limited with their seating.
Yeah, I mean, to have that guarantee, I would say that both
No,
times.
you're right, it was dinner.
Both times I've been to Aulani, I didn't book anything before I got there, and I've been able to book myself into any restaurant I wanted at any time I've wanted. So I didn't have an issue either time.
Okay.
And I was always able to get the character dining. It is
It's
very
not like
crowded.
the 6 months at Disney World.
Exactly,
You can
yeah.
wait like
Right
a
now, I
month out.
remember because I remember saying, "How is it possible they can overcook and undercook scrambled eggs in the same pan?"
Yeah.
There were runny scrambled eggs and eggs that had been cooked to within an inch of their life in the same pan and on my plate. Breakfast was really disappointing in terms of the variety, the quality. of everything. It's a large buffet. You've got a pretty wide
big,
selection of things, but it really was quite bad. But when we went and did dinner, it was exactly the opposite. When I tell you, arguably, it does not. I don't think it rises to the level of Tusker House, but it comes close.
Okay.
And at $54 for adults, $27 for children, where the breakfast is $41.
Wow.
And $21 for kids. Not unreasonable at all. We have more expensive buffets here where you're getting a lot worse food.
Yeah.
That dinner buffet, arguably among the best Disney has anywhere. When I tell you, it's just like the food was so good. It was such a dichotomy between breakfast and dinner that I asked to speak to the chef. And I said, "Are you the same person responsible for breakfast?" And he said, "Yes, I am." And I said, "Did you hit your head? What happened between breakfast and dinner?" And I was very honest with him. And I said, "Breakfast was terrible. Dinner is amazing. How can you do this at dinner?"
Yeah. And it's a thing of where, like, I've been multiple times, so it's consistently that way or whatever. I've done the dinner 3 times now. The dinner has always been great. Breakfast twice, both times terrible. So it's didn't matter what time of year I was going, it was still the same situation. And with the dinner, like, it's unlimited as far as, you get unlimited shrimp, you get unlimited crab legs, you get unlimited sushi, everything is just there and ready to go. And these are usually, even for that $54 mark, that's not something you're going to get in Florida, because that's usually not going to include unlimited of crab legs and shrimp and
What did
sushi
you
and
eat,
these types of
Pete?
things.
In the unlimited department.
Oh, they had...
That pastas and a lot of Italian stuff.
Well, I wasn't doing too much pasta. I was
they had
trying to
other
trying to
meats that
stay
you could
good, but
do.
they had plenty of meats. The ribs were unbelievable. They were so good. I don't remember specifically.
Okay, but there was other things other than seafood.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
it's not just
obviously.
seafood,
Okay.
yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
no. But they had if you eat seafood, this was impressive.
Yeah.
This was an impressive buffet of seafood items. And because there are a lot of Japanese tourists at Aulani, you had sushi and stuff like that, as you mentioned. So there's quite a bit. But honestly, Makahiki, dinner. Dinner is your best bet, but the character interaction at breakfast, go in knowing that breakfast is probably not going to be great, but the character interaction
It's like
is fabulous.
standard breakfast. I mean, for me, it's like going to Chef Mickey's or whatever. The food, you're going for the experience of being around the characters. I would go and take my kids because you're there, and that's one of the options as far as breakfast goes. But it's like standard pancakes, waffles, eggs, but it's just not well made.
Do they still do the Loco Moco there
Yeah.
as well too?
Yeah.
And I like that because that's a Hawaiian breakfast. It's basically a hamburger patty on top of rice with an egg and gravy, and so it's the worst way to start your day with tons of cholesterol.
Of course you remember that.
Oh yeah, of course I remember that, but it is so delicious. So if it's made well, clearly.
Now, the other restaurant the signature restaurant at Aulani is called Ama Ama, and this is right on the ocean. The view is stunning. The food is horrible. And the service left a lot to be desired as well. Our first night there, we went in, and I think we had reservations like 7:30, so it wasn't overly late. And they clearly wanted us to get out of there as quickly as possible. We ordered our appetizers and ordered our main courses. And yes, you guessed it, main courses overlapped our appetizers, which I made very clear I was not amused. First of all, I had just gotten done spending, between the flight and getting to the airport when you have to get to the airport and all that stuff, I just spent 16 hours traveling to get there. So, and I was jet lagged, and I'm not the most charming person under the best of circumstances. And shut up. And so this really bothered me, especially at the price point. For as reasonable as I think that dinner, that buffet dinner at Makahiki was, this was absolutely absurd. For 4 people, the bill was over $300.
Yeah.
And nobody. I think you had a drink and Steve had a drink. I don't think anybody else had any cocktails or anything. And I have to tell you, what we were served was not good. It
Yeah.
wasn't good food.
I will say both times I've been to Ama Ama, I was disappointed. It is not, for it to be a signature restaurant, it's not anywhere close to the level of California Grill or Citricos. Even out on the West Coast, it's nowhere near Steakhouse 55 or Carthay Circle. So I was disappointed with that, especially when you have something like Aulani. There's not rides or anything to back it up, so
Right.
you have to have everything really, really good. And I don't think the restaurant's that great. I didn't mind that that things were happening. I knew we had an issue at one point, like they brought the bill before we were done, that kind of stuff. Like none of that stuff bothers me, so I didn't see it that way. Just because I hate sitting in a restaurant after I'm done eating, I'd rather pay and leave. But the food wasn't good. The service wasn't good. I judge good service based on like if my drink is full, and I was real thirsty a lot during that dinner. So it's like, God, like you could give me drink.
And for me, one of the worst things you can do at a dinner in a signature restaurant in particular is put that check down on the table before I ask for it, because what you're saying is you're done. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you when I'm done. You don't tell me when I'm done. And that bothers me to no end. So between the food being crappy, the service being not very good, the price being too high, this is very clear. This restaurant thinks because it has that view of the ocean, that it can get away with phoning in.
Was there a lot of turnover that they needed that table? or-
No, it was very empty. Yeah.
The restaurant was not full at all.
No.
There were maybe 10 tables in there. And again, it's 7:30 at night.
Yeah.
So this is not...
Yeah, the sun's already down. So, at sunset, you really want to go and, like, see.
I prefer going there for breakfast because then you can enjoy that view.
Yeah.
We didn't do breakfast there, so I can't say. We did
did
do
lunch and
lunch,
dinner, yeah.
and lunch was a little bit better. It was not as bad as dinner, and the prices were more reasonable at lunch. So that's what my recommendation is: go at lunch to Ama Ama if you're going to do it. Mm-hmm. And you're saying breakfast is good. Mm-hmm. So breakfast or lunch. But they really need to get their act together with Ama Ama, because this place has been, for every time I've been there, I've had some good meals there, but I've had more bad than good.
Yeah.
And this is over the course of, I don't know, 6 years that I've been going to Aulani, and they haven't gotten their act together in there yet, and they need to buckle down. You're part of an organization that does have some really, really good signature restaurants. I'm sure if you ask for some help, they'll help.
Right.
But you need to do something else.
So why do you think they haven't? If their attention is to the details on everything else?
I don't know.
They just don't. I think it's been a thing where they don't need to. There's only we're done with naming restaurants at Aulani. Like that was it. So
Okay.
there's only the two, and then there is a quick service counter. I know we do a vlog at one point where I'm saying like even if it's not great, you're going to come here because if you're here for a week, that's where you're eating. So and that harkens back to my point earlier that I brought up briefly about going and getting groceries. That was a $300 meal for 4 people, and even the other two are breakfast only, dinner only, and for 4 people you're at $50 each. That's $200. So if you're doing breakfast, lunch, dinner, you're sitting on $1,000 a day on food, except for quick service if you do that. But
You do have a nice option at the Ulu Cafe, which is their quick service location.
yeah,
This is where the soda fountain is. There's also another soda fountain kind of hidden beside the kids club, Auntie's Beach House. But those are the only 2 locations to refill your refillable mug. I will say that Ulu Cafe, the flatbread pizzas are phenomenal.
they're really good. Yeah.
Their wraps and pre-made sandwiches are phenomenal. And as you'll see in a moment, and I'll just give you guys a heads up, we're going to go to the Steve video shortly. They do some really inventive salads that Makayla was loving. And this is true at breakfast and lunch. A lot of great baked goods, things like that.
Yeah, their bowls is like what they are. Like she did hers as a salad, but you can do it as a rice, as noodles, whatever, and then you pick like shrimp or poke or whatever you want to go inside of it.
And it wasn't the prices weren't unreasonable.
Yeah, those were fine as far as that goes. There's not a lot of change in those. So if you're staying, we were there for 8 days. So if I would have just had to eat that every day, I would have either been picking like a poke bowl or a flatbread, like for multiple meals per day. So it can get a little old, but it's good.
And then before we go to Steve, I just want to mention the Alelo room. the bar that is right outside Makahiki. And this is, like I'm knocking them on Ama Ama. I'm really knocking them on the Olela room. We had a total guest service failure.
Oh, wow.
In this location. Now the big thing about the Olela room is that everyone that is hired to work there speaks fluent Hawaiian.
Okay.
There are Hawaiian phrases all over the restaurant, and they will, part of their shtick is that they'll, help you learn different words in Hawaiian. The reason this is special is not a lot of people speak fluent Hawaiian. It's not a common thing on the island. So again, this is kind of Disney's nod to respecting that.
That's nice.
That culture, right? It's very cool. Our server wasn't bad, but Steve and Sean wanted like a specialty drink, and what they wanted they weren't able to make. So what was it he made you? Was it an Irish car bomb? Was that what it was?
There's a lot of, there was a lot of different issues with it. There was a lady that was the bartender, and at first they were like, oh, we can't provide energy drinks, but then it turned out they did have energy drinks, and even our server ended up telling us, he was like, oh, the bartenders are really lazy. That's the thing. Like, he flat out just told us, he's like, oh, the bartenders are just super lazy and unhelpful. And so pretty much anything we wanted, like, they would shoot us down. And so even whenever we complained to her, she essentially just laughed in our face and was like, I work here, I can do anything I want to. And I don't have that bad of interactions with people, but I'm like, you don't need to be working anywhere. Like, I don't know what her problem
for me
was,
to get up,
she was horrible.
For me to get up and confront the bartender, because she'd made this drink for them that used a certain type of beer, right? And the first one she made two of them, and she used one can of beer between the two drinks. Mm-hmm. And that was fine. They really liked it. They wanted another one, but Sean wanted two of them.
Yep.
So they ordered three. They ordered three. Well, she was undaunted. She was only going to use that one can of beer. Yet we were paying the same.
She charged us for 3 beers, everything instead of one.
And this was a drink that required a shot to go in it.
Yeah, it's Irish bomb, right?
It's what we ended up settling on was this. Yeah, because she wouldn't make us other things that we wanted, but they had ingredients for. She just refused. I'm like, okay.
And the shot glass, because she now is dividing that same can of beer between 3.
It wasn't even high enough for the shot.
It didn't cover the shot.
Yeah.
So I got up and I went over and I said, this is not okay. And she's like, well, I'm only using one can of beer. I'm like, no, you're not, because you're charging me for the same thing for these drinks. You're going to put the same amount of beer in each one. I don't care if you've got to open up 3 cans of beer to do it.
Right.
And she started giving me attitude.
Oh, yeah.
And I basically said to her, shove your attitude and make the damn drink. If you got to charge me extra because you have to open another beer, whatever. This is the drink they want. To the point where I had to get a manager involved.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she pushed it. She was not backing down. She was like, I work here and I will do whatever I want to.
Basically, she didn't say those words.
Essentially, but I've never run into an employee anywhere that was like that. I was like, holy crap, this woman.
So the Olela room needs... Yeah. I won't go back there. I won't go back there. And I'm sorry to have to say that about anything at Aulani.
Wow. Yeah.
But for as wonderful, when you have cast members as magnificent at the front desk, housekeeping, in the shops, at the pool. I went to get a shave ice, right? Because I wanted to try their shave ice there and see how good it was. And they make the Mickey Mouse shaped shave ice, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And the woman, the cast member making it said, where are you from? I said, from Orlando. We just got in yesterday. She's like, oh, that's awesome. She makes my shave ice. She hands it to me. She goes, it's on the house. She had a long trip.
Wow.
Okay? Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So when you have cast members like that, and then you get this twisted witch bartender.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a big spotlight that gets shown on that.
Yeah, she was horrible.
And I'm happy to say that was the exception, not the rule. But, again...
There's also off the hook bar, and that was really good.
They were wonderful.
They were
that
wonderful,
bartender was amazing.
That's not to say like any of the things there or whatever are problematic.
It was this bartender.
Yeah.
It was this bartender. But okay. So before we go any further, we've got a video from Steve and Makayla outlining a day that they spent doing activities at Aulani. So let's go ahead and go to that.
Hey everyone, we are at Aulani, a Disney resort in Hawaii, and we've been here for a couple days and we've seen some of our favorite things around the resort, and so we want to do a whole vlog, a whole day encompassing those things. So we're going to check out the pool, do some classes at the
Pauhana room.
The Pauhana room. I can't pronounce things. Get some food at the quick service locations and just check out the whole resort and show it to you guys. So follow along.
So we are headed to the Ulu Cafe, which is their main quick service dining location here at Aulani, to get some breakfast.
They have like bagels, 3 different like
They also
breakfast
have really
sandwich
good acai
options.
bowls apparently that are like really fresh, so maybe we'll try one of those. Breakfast flatbreads.
The only thing I will say that my only problem with this place is sometimes seating is limited. There's only like, I don't know, 6 or 7 tables. Yeah, it's pretty. So if it's like the prime meal
You can always
hours,
take your food over to the pool area, which is like right there.
that's true. So as we predicted, there were no available chairs to sit at, so we're just kind of in the adult-only pool area, it's pretty much empty. Having our, something on my face? Yeah. Having our breakfast. I got the croissant breakfast sandwich, was just like bacon, egg, and cheese on a croissant for $10.95. And you got the...
I got the tropical acai bowl. It was $12.95, which I mean is a little steep for breakfast, but you're at Aulani, plus it has all this fresh fruit, so it's not that bad. It has granola on the bottom, coconut flakes, then the acai, which is like frozen. It's not ice cream. It's like a berry, like superfood thing, but it's like frozen concentrate, kind of. Then it's topped with honey, papaya, pineapple, banana, chia seeds, and dragon fruits that are shaped like Mickey. How cute is that? It's supposed to have mango, but they were out of mango, which is fine because I don't like mango, but it's delicious.
And I also got this Hawaiian Sun guava nectar juice. I haven't tried it yet. Let me crack it open, see how it is. The other thing I'm curious to ask, if you know the answer, all the cans in Hawaii, we've noticed, have these ridges at the top of them.
Like Coke and everything.
Everything, yeah. Everything that comes in a
My
can.
prediction is because they're better for the ocean. So somebody in the comments tell me if I'm right.
Yeah, we want to know. So if you know, tell us what it is. So. Oh, that's good. You want to try it? I mean, it's not what I was expecting at all, but it's good. It's just like juice.
I don't like it.
Oh.
It has a weird aftertaste.
Oh, I like it a lot. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically just like juice, like very sweet juice.
So my acai bowl is delicious. I'm eating and walking because we're trying to get to the Kappa t-shirt painting class. Kappa is like a art form here. They explained it to us in detail, but it's like the canvas art like stamping technique they use here. And they let you make t-shirts with the Kappa stamps, and then you get to take the t-shirt home. It's an additional charge, but it's $12 for kids and $15 for adults, so it's really not bad compared for Disney pricing, especially in Hawaii. And you get to take the shirt home, so it's an awesome souvenir. So
We're just trying to make it there in time because it's like 9:45 right now, and it starts at 10. And there's like limited spots, so we're just trying to get there while there is still availability. So we're walking and eating. Well, I just scarfed my sandwich down, but yeah. So, what are you gonna make on your shirt?
Well, I have zero artistic ability, so I'm definitely not going to come up with an original design. They have a cute like example one over there that says aloha, and then the O is in your head, so I'm probably just gonna do that one.
And I think I'm just gonna go freestyle and see what I can make. So it's either gonna end up horribly, or they're gonna have mine hung on the wall as an example one to use. Although I want to take it home, so doubtful. But yeah, we'll see what kind of designs we come up with. Okay guys, so we're all done. I tried to go with a Moana design. I don't know if I accomplished it, but I tried.
I think it looks pretty good.
And Makayla went with a Minnie Mouse pattern. I
tried.
No, I think it's cute.
It fell apart a little bit down here and up here.
No, I think
also over here. But it started out really strong.
I think it's great. I think it's good. Mine had the Maui patch that I tried to do is a little discolored, but
It just looks like one of his tattoos, I think.
that's true. I did forget to do a hook, but there's not a stamp that's small enough for the hook. But I don't know. I think we did good. We made a little bit of a mess, but yeah. What do you think?
I love it. And for like $15, and now I get to take this shirt home, and we had a fun time. You don't have to stay for the full hour if you finish your shirt. So if you kids do their shirts in like 20 minutes, you can run off to the pool. But no, I think it's awesome. And it's awesome that they even offer these kind of activities. So. So I have my snorkel gear. I'm just about to go get in the Rainbow Reef. I will say I'm very nervous because last time I snorkeled was at Castaway Cay and it did not end well. So we'll see how this goes. I am pretty scared.
She is so unsure about this. Okay, update on the situation. Looks like it's going a little bit better. I think she's learning how to use it. How's it going?
It's going.
You got it?
Once you get past figuring out how to breathe, it's okay. I did it. It was really hard to get the hang of it first, but I got it, and it was actually really fun. So, if you want to do the snorkeling, it's $20 for a day pass for adults, or you can buy a length of stay pass if you think you're going to want to do it more than once. You can buy the length of stay pass, and it's $39, and it includes all your rentals. There's also a snorkeling area down by the beach, so we'll do that one a little later today. But yeah.
So we just got off the Lacey River. It was about a 15-minute loop to do the full thing.
And it's not a very long lazy river. It's just a very lazy river.
Yeah, there's not a lot of jets to propel you forward. So I'm not sure
It's really relaxing though.
Yeah, it is really relaxing. But if you're not swimming along with the tube, which we were not, then it takes a very long time.
And also most of it is shaded. So it's not like a super hot day right now, so it was freezing.
Yeah, well, it's kind of cold.
So now we're in the hot tub.
Yeah, we were gonna go right to the water slides afterwards, but we were just too cold, so we went, and now we're in the one of the adult only hot tubs. Okay, so we're at the top of two staircases, both which lead to the two slides. There's the Tubestone Curl and the Volcanic Vertical. The Volcanic Vertical is a body slide. The Tubestone Curl is a tube slide, of course. The body slide is completely dark, so there's not going to be much footage for that. It will be Makayla's first time going down, so we'll have to record her reaction afterwards, because it's a little bit scarier than the tube slide. And then, yeah, for the tube slide, we'll have GoPro footage ready to go. So let's go check those out.
Babe, why do you have your shoes on?
didn't like it? Why?
I thought I was gonna be stuck in there forever.
You didn't like how dark it was? Oh, I thought it was so fun. I didn't hear you screaming though.
I couldn't breathe. I don't think I breathed the whole time I was in there.
Oh, it's so fun.
No, it's really not fun.
There's like a giant wave when people splash out of there though. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah.
First, look at these chopsticks. They have Mickey on them. They're adorable. So you're supposed to snap the Mickey off, and then you can use them as a little rest for your chopsticks so they don't get dirty.
Ah,
Genius.
it's pretty cool.
Okay, first poke bowl bite. I'm a little nervous.
I mean, it's just shrimp, right?
So good.
What else did you get in there?
I have no idea. I got creamy sesame sauce, spicy mayo, which, whoo, is it spicy? Maui onion, cucumber, edamame, some sort of something with seaweed, avocado. It's really good though. And you can build your own, or they have like a couple pre-made ones that you can do.
Okay, and how much was it?
Not cheap. It was $18.74 for this poke bowl.
Dang.
Oh, no, well, Steve got a drink, so the poke bowl itself was $15.95. So, but it's like pretty big. You could probably share it, but
All things considered, that it's Disney pricing and in Aulani, is it
And
worth
shrimp.
it? And shrimp, yeah. Is it worth it?
you would think seafood would be cheap here, but yeah, I think it's worth it. I mean, I really wanted a poke bowl, so of course I'm gonna think it's worth it.
Alright. So behind me is Mama's Snack Shack, or whatever it's called, or Snack Stop. And Makayla got her food from her poke bowl from Ulu. And she was very, very hungry, so she's getting a table and finding a place to get set up. And I'm gonna see what I can find over here. I think there's some coconut shrimp that's calling my name, so I'm gonna see if anything else beats that, and if not, I'm going with the shrimp. Okay, so when we were in Ulu, I wanted to try another one of these Hawaiian Sun. I got the guava one for breakfast, so now I got the passion orange for lunch. Again, curious about these cans, but whatever. And then I went over to Mama's Snack Stop, and I got the coconut shrimp. They are pretty massive, so I'm excited to try them out. The shrimp were $16.75, and the juice was $1.95. So I'm gonna take a bite. So good, like super good. I really could have used sunglasses today.
Yeah, you didn't even bring them.
Yeah.
Think in our mind. It's a good look.
They fit comfortably. But yeah, so we are waiting for, what's the name of the party?
The Shakalaka dance party, I think.
Okay. And what characters are there again?
I don't know. I think it's different every time.
Oh, I think I asked you earlier, didn't I?
Yeah. But it's in the main pool. I think the name of it is the Waialohe pool, but they all are starting to sound the same. But it's the main, like, family pool here. I'm pretty sure it's Waialohe. And from what I hear, the characters actually get in the water because it's like a 0 pool. So we'll see.
That's cool. Yeah, we got our spot. We're kind of just sitting in the shallow end of the pool already. Yeah, against the wall. And when they come, I'll turn the camera back on so you guys can check it out. So we just finished up the dance party.
Well, it's actually still going, but we left after Minnie and Mickey came. Apparently Goofy comes later, but it was like kids' food.
Yeah.
So
and there's like family.
It was packed, and the parents parents are trying to see their kids, and we were really just in the way.
Yeah. And
But it was also seemed so dangerous to me.
And there's also just like a lot of like participation, like pulling kids up on
Yeah, like they take
out
the
of the
boys out,
water.
they take the girls up to do a dance with me and Mickey.
But like when they do that, it's just like a mad rush of children.
Like kids jumping out of the pool and then jumping back in. They literally have a medic standing at the shower end of the pool because I feel like kids probably get hurt a lot.
It needs to be a little bit more organized because it was
I will say the staff did a great job though, like getting people to participate and like being fun. Like they're very similar to like the cruise line, the cruise director staff on cruise line. Like they're just fun and energetic, but it's definitely something you don't want to do if you don't have kids with you. It's really not our crowd.
It was just a little crazy. So we're gonna make our way. We've actually made our way down to the beach, and we're gonna make our way into the water. And hopefully it's a little bit warmer than the pool, because those pools, after you're in them for a little bit, do get a little chilly. So we'll head down into the ocean. So we just finished paddleboarding. What do you think?
So fun.
Yeah.
And I got up finally. It's like really hard at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. It requires so much strength in your legs. Though,
Yeah,
like
it's a lot of
balancing,
coordination and strength.
which I don't have either of, but I did it.
Yeah, it takes a couple times. I was definitely like shaky to start.
Yeah, an hour goes by so quick though. It's an hour rental for like $39 plus tax. It went by so fast. I think it was well worth it.
I think it also went by quick though because we were splitting time.
Oh, there's no way I would have made it a full hour by myself. I would have been way too tired like halfway through.
Yeah, I think actually doing it, just splitting time with a couple is actually probably the best way to do
And
it.
then if you find you want more time, you can always add it. And I say start with one, unless you want to be like side by side.
Well, and the little like bay lagoon area is not like
not huge.
It's not like so huge that you need more than an hour.
Yeah, no,
So, yeah, I think it's all worth it. It's a lot of fun.
Because I did the snorkel rental earlier, it works down at the beach too, so I can get snorkel gear and I can snorkel around while Steve is on the paddleboard. I will say though, I didn't see a single fish. Snorkeling in the lagoon. I think it's because there's so many people, but the Rainbow Reef is definitely the way to go for snorkeling.
Yeah, but it's still fun. And so we just finished this. We have get splashed by a wave. We have dinner tonight actually at the Makahiki buffet. And I think we're gonna record that as a separate vlog. So I think that we'll probably do it. Well, actually, if we have time, then we're gonna try to make it to the Storytellers, like little thing down by the fire pit. But so stay tuned for that. And
So we just picked up our iPad, whatever it's called, for the Menahune Adventure Trail. We picked the short one that's upstairs in the lobby. There is a longer adventure you can do that's downstairs around the pool area. That's available after 3 p.m. They said that one takes about 45 minutes, and we have dinner, so we're just doing the lobby that's about 15 minutes. But we'll see what this is all about. Here we go, press to begin. Okay, we agree.
Aloha, bees. It's Auntie. As your host, I'd like to give you a personal tour of Maka'ala, Aulani's beautiful harbor.
So we just finished the Menahune Adventure Trail, the lobby one. It's just a really short, quick one. And then we took our iPad back to the Pauhana room, and the cast member gave us these kukui nuts and a little starter keychain. And if you do the short trail and the long trail that's outside, you get a kukui nut for each. And then there's also this photo scavenger hunt. We're gonna try to get it done, but there's a lot of things on here. Some of them we have pictures of already, so we're gonna try to get it done before dinner to get another kukui nut, but we'll see if it happens or not.
Aku upoli mai heo E kui pua aloha He ala ona ko O ke ano ahi ahi Mamulea o kole O palune ia kino He kino paru paru ko Ika hana ke aloha Wala ino ia Ika hanu ka ipo E ho o ipo ne Na te apua ka ua
We just wrapped up the storytelling time out by the fire pit, and it's so good. That was our second night out there, and they told, I think it's been a week now, so he was back to the story that we heard the first night, and it was still just as good as the last time. It was so fun. I think that's one of my favorite things at Aulani, actually. It's like a good blend of like entertainment and like getting culture, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's really unique.
Yeah, and the storyteller, the uncle that does the storytelling,
So talented.
he's super talented and really into it, and really, you can tell he's really passionate about his job. So, yeah, that's a lot of fun, and I think that's gonna wrap up our.
Oh, wait, we went to the gift shop too
Oh,
for last minute souvenirs because we haven't bought enough while we've been here.
yeah, we did. No, still new Olu. We've been looking all week. No, he's been missing.
He's Duffy's friend, the turtle, if you
Yeah.
don't know who Olu is. I'm very upset that he wasn't here. The whole time we were here, he was sold out.
But yeah, it's been a great week and it's been a great day.
Perfect Aulani day.
What was your favorite thing about today?
I think the paddleboarding. I was really proud of myself for
paddleboarding?
standing up. I didn't
Yeah.
think it was going to happen.
You did it. My favorite thing, I think. I don't know. That's a good question. I think maybe the storytelling. I really like that, and also I love the tube slide. Those are my two favorites. So, anyways, I think that'll do it. Thanks again for watching. Like this video if you had enjoyed the video, and please subscribe. And thanks for watching.
All right, so Steve and Makayla showing us a nice cross-section of some of the activities. I was very impressed. Two things that really impressed me was in that community room. Well, first of all, you can get board games. We did that one night. We got board games, and we just sat in the four of us sat in our one bedroom and played board games. It was really, it was a lot of fun.
You did? He did.
Yes.
I was really surprised too. Like I've never heard you talk about playing
Trying to
board
get a
games.
visual.
Yeah.
I don't normally, but
sore loser?
It's
you
not
know
a video
what?
game.
I'm very competitive.
It sounds better than when we were in Italy. We were on the first night of our cruise. We played this fun game where we watched previews for the different cruises that you could take on Viking.
yeah,
and then we would play it as a drink game.
Wouldn't we, like guess
By
how much
guessing
it
the prices,
cost or
yeah.
something? Yeah, that was fun.
But the two things that really impressed me were the ukulele lessons that are free, right? And they'll provide you a ukulele to learn how, but then you can buy the ukulele, and they will show you how, and it's like a real good ukulele, and they will show you how to tune it and all this other stuff, and ship it back home for you. I think you're muted.
Great, my joke landed flat. Then I said, "Craig, cut to the video of Pete playing ukulele." Then
Yeah, no. And then what they were showing in the video, making the T-shirt, for $15.
That's not bad.
And they have all these different like Hawaiian stamps, and you put the paint on them, or you stamp the shirt. It's really cool. Yeah, a lot of really cool things to do. But finally, wrapping up this segment, I want to talk a little bit about the luau, and give you an idea. The price of the luau for general seating, $129 for adults, $79 for kids. For VIP seating, which gets you closer to the stage, we were right in front. We were like right up in front of the stage. And it also includes alcohol.
Yep.
Some free bar.
$169 for adults, $109
I think the other
kids.
thing to say about the VIP, it lets you in early. So if you've got kids, it lets you get to all the activities that they're doing before anyone else is there.
Well, that's it. They do a lot of pre-show activities. There's copper printing, which is that process I was just talking about with the stamps. They do temporary tattoos, flower arranging, ukulele lessons. There's a lot of stuff going on before. The buffet was absolutely unbelievable. They had a full suckling pig. I wish they wouldn't keep the head on because that really kind of freaks me out. But, oh, my God, that was really good pork. Prime rib, seafood, local foods, desserts, a really nice kids buffet. It was a great selection of foods. But, honestly, that luau, that show, interesting little story. It's a story, they always do story. It's always a story, like they're telling you during the luau, and it's this brother and sister. And when this starts off, I'm like rolling my eyes, going, "Oh, here we go. I'm going to sit here for 2 hours, and there's going to be some cheesy story about somebody's getting married, and here's the family, and they're going to do these like dances and stuff, which is what they do at the Polynesian, and it just, ugh." Well, by the end of it, I'm like, okay, I think these two are actually brother and sister, because if they're not, they are the best actors I've ever seen. Because they're telling the story about how their mom passed away, and the girl is like, she's getting misty. And you were saying that it was the exact same people, the exact
I said it's
same
the
show.
same people the last time I was here. I was like, they must be really brother and sister, like, because they only use these same people.
And the singing voices on these people were amazing. I mean, they were like professional singers, and they sounded incredible. So the next day, we're walking through the lobby, and I look over at the front desk, and working behind the front desk is the guy,
the brother
who starred in the luau. And I'm like, oh, hell no, you got to be kidding me. So I go up to him and I say, first I want to tell you that luau was amazing. You did an incredible job. And he thanked me. And I said, I got to ask you this. Is that really your sister? And he laughed. He says, yes, she is. And I said, okay, because I figured it had to be either you were really related or you were just great actors. But when I tell you, you will never, ever watch a luau in Orlando again after you see this. The quality of the entertainment, the just all of it was so striking. And I am putting together a highlights reel. It's not ready to go up yet, but I filmed a lot of video of that luau that I will be putting up a highlights reel at some point that you have to see. But I looked at that price point at $179. Well, that's expensive. It's a bargain at twice the price for the food, the activities, and that level of entertainment. And it takes place right there at Aulani. It used to be you had to go a few doors up. Aulani didn't do a luau, but there was a really popular beachside luau a few doors on the other side of the Four Seasons. I can't remember the name of the place that everybody had to go to. Now the Aulani one is the one that everybody's sending people to.
So you don't have to stay there you can just...
No, you don't have to stay there to book it.
No.
It is, it was phenomenal. It was so good. It was equally as good the first time I did it. It was so good this time. The price difference of $40 to have the VIP. Even if you're not somebody who drinks, Pete doesn't drink, and it's well worth the seating because you're pretty far back by comparison to where you are in the VIP area. You are up against that stage. You're right there.
Oh, yeah.
And you're so close as far as the pay goes. And beyond that, if you do want the drinks, that's a great option because it's a full service bar. It's not just like beer and wine like at Hoopty Do.
They've got waiters going around.
Oh yeah, this
orders.
is like you can get any mixed drink you want to. So I will say with that, I know we talked earlier about booking dining beforehand. The luau is the one that I feel very strongly about.
have to book in advance.
You have to book it in advance. You have to book it as soon as you possibly can. And the other element to it is, which I ran into the first time I was going to Aulani, you need to book it as early in your trip as possible. So if you're going 7 or 8 nights or whatever you're doing for Aulani, even if it's night 1 that you have to try and book it for, you need to do it then, because if it rains or it even looks like it's going to rain, they'll cancel it.
That's right.
And that's the thing. They'll cancel it and they'll bump you to the next show that they can fit you into. So if the next show's running and it's fully booked, they can't fit you into that show. So you may get to the end of your trip and be bumped back 2 or 3 times, and then you don't get to do the luau. So, and it's like the must-do thing. In my opinion, at Aulani, it's the best.
It really should be.
So.
After you book your hotel, that should be the next thing you book.
Okay.
Yeah, and you need to book it if you're getting there on Saturday, book it for Saturday. So
because it doesn't run every night. During the summer months, they are running them more frequently.
Yeah.
They used to run them only twice a week. During the summer months, they're running them, I think, either 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's become so popular, and because when it rains, they have to cancel, and they're having trouble moving people.
Right.
So, but that luau, I'll tell you, I'm not a luau guy. I said it before. It's not something I'm going to go out of my way for. And if it wasn't for the fact that it was part of the agent education program, and they gave us VIP seating, I probably wouldn't have done it, and I would have missed out on one of the best live shows I've ever seen. Certainly, I mean, it certainly eclipses anything. Maybe not Festival of the Lion King, but it's up there.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's in that realm in terms of Disney live shows. Certainly better than anything on Cruise Line. And I think that maybe Festival of the Lion King is the only other live show where I think maybe is on this.
There's more elements to it. I mean, the building's made for that.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah.
I can't say enough about it. I can't say enough about Aulani. That you may get sticker shock looking at the price, and be like, oh, okay, no. But take a look at everything you get, and of course, I have to give a plug for Dreams Unlimited. And full disclosure, I'm an owner in Dreams Unlimited Travel. Sean, Kathy, and Teresa are all agents with Dreams Unlimited Travel, as is Makayla, Steve's wife. So any of them can help you. Well, not these two, because I don't think you book Aulani, do you?
I have.
You have? Mm-hmm. You booked Aulani. Good for you.
Yeah, for existing clients who,
want to go.
Yeah.
Well, Sean's been taking a lot of them lately.
Yeah, I've been trying to arrange that. But I will say, as far as, even looking at the sticker prices, I looked at some of the other resorts too, the Hilton that we stayed at. There's other ones in the area as far as Waikiki goes, which is just packed. Like, it is not at all like the other side where Disney is. It is the most jam-packed area I think I've ever been in my life. And so the prices for those, like if you're going to Hawaii, this is one of those like once in a lifetime trips that people are like, I'm taking my family to Hawaii and this might be the only time I ever go. I would spring the extra money to go to Aulani just because I've stayed at both at this point, and just what you get is so much better. And the memory of going to Hawaii, if you're going to spend all that money anyway, to me it's not that much extra to go to Aulani and stay there. And if you're concerned about Aulani, pull up some prices for some of the other resorts and
in the
the
Ko-Olina
area, and they're very comparable. The other as well. I mean, I had a client a few days ago, ask me. They were like, "Hey, the wife, she was like, I love Disney. My husband isn't the biggest Disney fan in the world, but he kind of goes with her on her Disney adventures places, and we're concerned about the kids factor because they didn't have children, and is it chaotic?" And the biggest comparison, when we stayed at the Hilton, because of the price point there, it was chaos. There were lots of huge groups there. They were super loud. They were loud on the balconies all night long. They were smoking pot on the balconies all night long.
It's a different clientele.
It's a very different clientele, whereas with Aulani, it's a really good mix of, even though the price point's higher, there's a lot of people from Japan that come to visit, and I hate to have to say it, but their children are usually much better behaved, as I've come to find out, than a lot of the American kids are. So even though there are more children there, people really keep their kids more in line, and they're more well behaved as far as Aulani goes. So I would say that. And also a lot of things at Aulani close earlier than you would think, or like, the lazy river closes about 6 at night. A lot of the pools close about 8. So you don't get as late of a day, but with the time zone difference, it's not that big a deal. You're pretty tired by that time frame, where it takes a while to get readjusted to that. So don't let that spook you off either.
All right. And that is going to do it for our discussion on Disney's Aulani Resort. And I don't know, how do you want me to end these? Do you want me to end them clean, or you do? Okay. So that will do it for our discussion. Craig's like, please give me a clean break. That will end it for our discussion on Aulani. We hope you enjoyed it. And I don't know how else to cut.
The damn ocean.
Stay out of the... No, go into the ocean.
Go
into the ocean. That's all right. Stay out of the damn lakes.